Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Jason BitBender Brink, and I am here for episode 22 of Ahead of the Game. And I am delighted to talk to you guys today. We got a lot of cool updates that are coming. Got some cool art to share, some interesting information about a bunch of games that everybody's very interested in, and a bunch of other stuff that I can't actually talk about, even though I know it. This is the downside of Ahead of the Game, is that I get to know a lot of stuff, and I don't always get to talk about it. It's a little bit on the frustrating side, I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to go ahead and open up both the YouTube here. If Good Paul, could you send me the YouTube link, pretty please? It's not in the show notes. And I'm going to run through a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to do some AMA stuff at the end of all of this. And I will, depending on how long things run, we're either going to go for an hour or an hour and a half, depending on a variety of different factors and how many questions there are and what people's engagement is. And I've got the YouTube link coming up now. I gotta mute myself because I don't want to hear myself. And the Zorro Gala likes my hat. This is my ladybug hat, man. This is my little daughter. She loves ladybugs. And when she saw it, she's like, "Daddy, you have to have a ladybug hat." So I have a ladybug hat now. And I am gonna go ahead and dive in and answer some questions. Or not answer some questions, do some updates, and then answer some questions. Okay, hold on. Let me get the show notes in the right place here. And actually needs to be shared in our Discord. Has this been pushed out as an announcement yet? I feel like it hasn't. Let me go do that first, guys. I'm going to do this. It has not. Okay, hold on. This is going as an announcement first, and then we're going to do the entire thing. Got to get the people in here listening, because these are things that everybody wants to know. We have an awesome episode. What? No, stop being silly, Discord. The Money Bum. It will be an AMA. It'll be an AMA a little bit after the updates. And then after that, then yeah. So let me get through the updates and do this post first. Oh, actually, I need to... There we go. Had to get the Gala Gold mention in there. Push it out, and here we go. Dubstep Rod, there's some new stuff. Some new stuff that's going to be going on. Are the CEOs still fighting? No. There's one CEO, and he is not fighting with himself. He's remarkably on top of stuff. The two founders still have a legal thing going back and forth, but honestly, it has nothing to do with us and nothing to do with me, so I don't talk about it. And okay, now diving into the show, now that we actually have the announcement out there for everybody, we're going to go ahead and hop right into the show notes. Okay, so again, welcome everybody. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and say, do the like and subscribe thingy if you are listening to this on YouTube or Twitter or Twitch or wherever it is that you happen to be paying attention here. And do that like and subscribe thing. We appreciate it, and share with your friends, because that's how we get stuff out there so that people actually see it. Okay, some game updates. Let me just go to the... Oh, crap. I need to... Oh, I was... Oh, okay. Never mind. I was going to go to the over the shoulder thing so that he could do the little picture thing up here, but we have an interview, so we're going to go ahead and go directly into that first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. We had a town hall last week for Common Ground World. We talked about a bunch of stuff. We released a bunch of news about Common Ground World / Townstar nodes. And we have a bunch of really interesting stuff coming over the next actually, honestly, within the next 24 hours, you guys are going to have a bunch more information that I think you are going to very much like. So to talk about some of this, I would like to invite to this wonderful Ahead of the Game episode 22, Pablo Mera. How you doing today, Pablo?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Hey guys,
Yeah.
how are you?
Hey, say hi to the people. We have a bunch of people watching on YouTube, and the worst waifu. Hey, the worst waifu. Happy to see you here. So
Hey guys,
Pablo, how's it going today, man?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
I am. How does my grandfather uh, put it that with all of the horse shit around, there has to be a pony somewhere. It's one of those. It's one of those things. It's been a week, man. It's been a week, and you've been here for the whole thing. So there's a
Yeah.
tremendous amount of work going on, a tremendous amount of progress being made. But it is a lot of work. So yeah, let's you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, because I think that most people have interfaced with you through Common Ground World / Townstar. And so the rest of the wider community may not be aware of who you are, what you've done, all of that. So do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. Well, my name is Pablo Mera. I'm from Chile. Uh, a very long and thin piece of land over in the southern hemisphere. I'm a game designer. I've been a game designer and also a producer for a long time. Mostly in mobile live ops, free to play, mobile RPGs, and those kind of things. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting. And now this is my second experience with Web3. I work a little bit with another company called VHS before I came here. And I was initially tapped to be the game designer for Townstar. But at some point, there was a need for a team lead. So I basically became team lead. And I have been restructuring the team, improving the processes, trying to get things out into the game, and keep competitions every week or as much as we can. Produce sale items and a bunch of other stuff. So basically, streamline live ops and new features for what is now Common Ground World.
Well, I, for one, am very happy that you are here. You and I have been working extremely closely on a lot of different things. So it is very good to be able to introduce you and talk to you with the community a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk? What is it like working on Common Ground World?
Well, I think that Web3 in general is interesting. There's a lot of movement compared to traditional gaming, let's say, right? So I spent many years in traditional gaming, mobile gaming. Now coming here, it's quite different. There are a lot of design constraints. As a game designer, first, there are a lot of design constraints. Like, for example, I want to do this. Like, well, we sold an NFT that does this and that. So, you gotta be
Got to
aware
keep
of.
keep the keep the promise. Make sure that
You gotta keep the promises. You gotta make sure that you're not breaking anything that you've sold before in a way more restricted manner that it would be in a mobile game, right?
right.
So there are a lot of constraints that are very new to me in that regard. So I spent some time here navigating that, learning, getting informed from people who are more Web3 savvy, like yourself, and trying to improve the designs, uh, going forward with that in mind. For example, we've discussed the bots. At some point in the past, we saw these bots or bot parts
Mhm.
and now it's time to come do and make them do what they're supposed to do, right? So we're including
Make
that in
them
our
do the things.
right. So those are the kind of things that are kind of new to me. Usually in traditional gaming, you announce something when it's done, you know,
Right.
and you sell it right away. It's a little bit different here. There's a lot of um, promises and moving parts, which is super interesting.
It is super interesting, and for us, we've been having been in the space for a while and working with Gala for years now. It is one of those things that there's a lot of ideation, a lot of creativity, and a lot of a lot of flexibility with some of this. But when you make a promise, you got to deliver on that. You have to make sure that you are good for that. And that's actually, if you are in some of the channels in our Discord, you will have seen that I dropped a form in there today, because for us, we're always very cognizant of these sorts of things. But there's another interesting factor here: is there's promises and perceptions. And there are some times where an idea will get discussed, or a community based perception will be built, that people expect a certain thing, even though if that was never the thing that was exactly said. And you have to walk that line of like, okay, well, this wasn't a promise. It wasn't exactly a promise, but it is something that the community expects nonetheless. How do we deliver on that? Because at the end of the day, what all of this is it boils down to the community. Web3 and gaming also, but definitely Web3 boils down to being a very, very much a community focused, community centric thing. And that's one of the things that I find most interesting about working in the space. What are some of the things that you think are really good about working in Web3?
Well, really good. Let's see. There are a bunch of perks, of course, but um, in terms of design, as I said before, I personally really like having interesting puzzles to solve and constraints to overcome. In my career, I've done that multiple times. For example, at one time I had to design a game for smart TVs when smart TVs weren't a thing, and they would run at 3 FPS with a white background and a black square, right? So that's like, how do I make that work, right? And we
Right,
managed to make a fully functioning game work in that thing by trying to be smart and identifying the strengths of the hardware at that point. But the important thing is the puzzle element of how can we make that work. And I think that here there's a lot of that because it's we have the competitions that we're running, and we have to keep having these competitions because we have our players that really love them, and we also want to introduce this new game mode for Common Ground World because we want more people to come in and find something that is not so hardcore. So you have this really weird mix of we want something that is approachable on one side,
right,
but also keeps being hardcore for the older audience. And
right.
on top of that, you have all the past promises like the bots and the notes and stuff like that. So how can you make all that work? And I think that it's pretty interesting getting to that part, which is how can I solve this and make as many people as possible happy
Right.
with the result, right?
One of the things that I find really interesting, and I don't know, were you following our conversation that we had in Discord last night in the Gala Gold channel by any chance?
No, I
Um,
haven't.
so I had a really interesting conversation with I think it was Mr. Peculiar, and all of these things, a bunch of community members. It was a really interesting conversation though, because it was about rewarding the people who have been operating Townstar nodes, right? So when I went to engineering about this, it's like, okay, well, we're doing something for Townstar nodes. How far back can we track node operation? Right? Can we go forever? And the engineer that I was talking to at the time said 90 days. We can track 90
Mhm.
days. After that, we no longer retain the data. And because we haven't been doing a distribution, Okay, there isn't anything that we can go back further and look because it's just not a thing that's been retained. With the founders nodes, for example, there's a daily distribution report that,
Right.
worst case scenario, you can, dig through that to pull up, numbers. But in the case of Townstar nodes, if you're not doing a distribution, then that data doesn't exist, right? So
Yeah.
what was interesting is it's like, okay, well, Townstar nodes were earning, quote unquote, okay, town was turned off 460 days ago today. Okay. So what we did is we're like, okay, when we came up with the idea and we first announced it to the community, it was about 450 days. So what we'll do is, just in case somebody was running their nodes, we will make sure that everyone who has a Townstar node will receive 450 dirt. So if they were running their node for every single day, they would have gotten 1 dirt a day. Fantastic. And then we'll also go back 90 days and look at what was there, and we will give that amount to them as well if they were running it. So the people who weren't running it, okay, won't get anything. The people
Right.
who anything in additional to the 450, the people that were would get up to 90 additional dirt. And it was really, really interesting because um, you know, given that constraint of we have 90 days of data, what do we do with that? Looking at this and saying, okay, well, let's give everybody something because that seems to be the thing that will make the greatest number of people happy. I had an entire group of people in Gala Gold who were upset about the fact that people were maybe not running their nodes, and that they shouldn't have received anything. So
Right.
here's an interesting statistic, though, that I want to share, is that there are 1,392 individual accounts that own Common Ground World nodes or Townstar nodes. Of those accounts, just over 200 did not run over the last 90 days. So the vast majority of people were running over the last 90 days and will receive some additional distribution in some sense. So the number of people who are absolutely not running, very, very small,
Right.
which I think is an interesting thing. But it's always interesting for us to try to find that balance of like, how do we do something that makes the nicest number of people happy and pisses off the smallest number of people, while recognizing that there's literally nothing that we could do. Because if we were to say, like, in a perfect world, let's say we had that data going back forever, right? In a
Yeah.
perfect world, we were to give everybody stuff just for that, we would be in a very interesting situation where there'd be a bunch of people, those 200 people specifically, who weren't running their nodes, who would be like, well, gosh, I wasn't running my node. Now I hate you. You should have told me to run my node that you were going to do this thing. And it would be an entirely different group of equally pissed off people, which would have been uh, hilarious.
Well,
Um,
I think that also there's a general rule in gaming that you err on the side of the user,
right.
right?
Always.
So in the sense, like, if we're lacking that data, it's only fair that we give it to
Err on the
everybody.
side of the user. Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And just dealing with something, one of the comments coming from YouTube, from Rich. Uh, these aren't just $10 promises. OG spent thousands of dollars, and we get screwed for running it for 18 months. LMFAO. We get a Web 2 soft token with no intrinsic value. Yay. So I don't know if you missed this on last Friday, but that is a marker token that will eventually turn into an actual token. Just FYI, Rich.
Yeah, it's
So
like
you
popcorn,
do
right?
actually get something. It's like popcorn, exactly. So there is definitely a wait, what? Definitely a you're going to be getting something for that. So we erred on the side of giving people more, and the people who are upset about that, you're not upset about what you get. You're upset about the fact that somebody else is getting something that you feel that they don't deserve. What can we do about it? There's only so much that we can actually do. Um, and I don't know. Hold on. I'm not calling you a hypocrite, Cigar. I don't know where that's coming from. Anyway, so yeah, what is the thing that you look forward to the most in Common Ground World?
So we have we mentioned that we have a couple things in the works. We have the guild system attached to nodes. We have the upgradable system, upgradable NFT system, and I think that both of those things are pretty cool, right? The I was just reviewing the guild design document with our new game designer and the engineers, and there were a lot of interesting opportunities that were arising from that. The engineers were really stoked with the like I can set up my node, I can upgrade my node and my guild. I gain all of this functionality by upgrading at different levels. I can have more guild members, and that's all super interesting. Which I
Mm,
think that is not only beneficial for the common ground world, but it's also tech that we're producing for our other projects, our other games,
correct. Correct. One of
which will make it
Sorry, go
really
ahead.
interesting for the rest of the company too. So just to close off my comment, I'd say that I really look forward to the upgradable system on one side, and on the side of the casual gaming initiative that we have, the common ground mode. Um, our plan is to keep working on that, make it more user friendly, introduce more tutorial elements, and be prepared for more people coming in and playing the game.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Now I don't know if I can actually ask this. Hold on, let me go check. I'm going to scroll down in Slack and make sure that I haven't missed anything. No, I don't think I have. Um, are we good to do that read through tomorrow? Can we get that on the schedule?
I mean, I asked you. You have to tell me when you can do that.
Oh, okay. You did ask me. Hold on. Well, so yes, then hey, good Paul in the background there. Can we do it not immediately after the Town Star AMA? Noon Pacific works beautifully. Let's do that. Okay, so noon Pacific, guys. Is that cool with you, Pablo?
Mm, Probably not, but we'll
Ah,
figure it out.
okay,
Let's see.
okay. Well,
Let's
okay,
see.
maybe not noon Pacific, but sometime tomorrow, either right after the Town Star or sorry, Common Ground World AMA, what we're going to do is we're going to do a full read through of the light paper. Every single solitary word in it, we will do a read through so that everybody can hear the white paper. Okay. So if you're listening to the stream, you don't get to say that you didn't read the thing because you will have heard it. We will discuss rationale and reasoning behind some of the things that are in there because there's a bunch of stuff that I think people are going to find super cool and surprising, that they will want to know the rationale behind. And then, thirdly, this is before an official release of the document. We'll be able to get your feedback and comments. So if there's anything that needs to be tweaked or modified prior to a full release of it, then you guys are going to be part of that. So that's going to happen tomorrow. You know what, Paul? Let's just call it right after the thing. That runs 8 to 9, right? Okay, so yeah, go ahead and throw it on the schedule for 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Does that work for you, Paul? Or Pablo and Paul? All of the peoples
For
with
all
names
the
that start with
polls.
P? Okay.
It's the same name, by the way, but yeah.
Yeah, it is, I guess. Okay, so there you go. All of the polls. We will do that tomorrow, immediately following the Common Ground World AMA Friday update, and we'll do a full read through. So you guys will have all of the information, and that will be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it, man. And make sure that you guys come and listen to the AMA portion as well tomorrow. I'm not going to be on there for that one, but I know that the rest of the team is going to be, and they are awesome. So, yeah, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the community, Pablo, before we close it out?
I mean, we've been doing the town halls weekly, so we just tell people everything we're doing all the time. I know that they think we're holding some stuff, and well, we have a couple things in the pipeline, but we are truly honest with the things that we're doing.
Mm.
and what's coming down the pipeline every week and every month, what our priorities are. We indicate people what the priorities change too, because of different reasons. Um, and I think that we've made good on some promises, along the way since I've been. I started being in charge of the team around the time of the new version release. So
Hmm.
there has been a lot of challenges in the new
Yeah.
engine, but I think that it's overall an improvement compared to the previous one, which was
Oh, it is.
full of cheaters and very problematic for the community. Um, and for example, we said we'll get this game in mobile, and we did, right? So it's working in mobile devices. Some people complain like, "Oh, it's not working in my device," but it's working on most devices, right?
Right.
Which is pretty cool. So yeah, just navigating the different issues and the different challenges, but just trying to keep a game that constantly has competitions out, that is constantly rewarding people. We have Gala rewards. We're about to bring back the blueprints that we stopped for a bit while we were working on Common Ground. So yeah, I, I'd say that we're pretty honest every week.
No, I know you guys are, and I enjoy spreading that information and connecting with people on it and watching the community's reaction and response. I know that right now, and this is actually something because I was on that that call last Friday, and it's very interesting because there's a bunch of people who are a little on the salty side, and I understand, 100% understand. This is not my first bear market, and one of the things that I find really interesting is that when you're in a market like this, when everything is kind of across the board crap, um, people definitely want to be able to have their voice heard. And
Yeah,
the problem is that, everybody in the ecosystem is pretty much involved in a bunch of different other ecosystems as well, right? There are people who are, they've bought things for a bunch of different projects and a bunch of different games. And, most of those projects are dead. Most of those games are deceased, have shuffled off the mortal coil, as it were. They're pining for the fjords, to use a reference. I don't know how many people will get that, but they don't have anyone to yell at about those things. What they do have is us to yell out about their collective frustrations. And while they're definitely frustrated with some of the stuff that we have done or not done, they're also just generally speaking frustrated. And it is a tough time to be here. And we're happy that all of you guys are here and part of this with us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing how this goes and grows and continues in the future.
yeah. I mean, if you allow me, Ahmed, I'd say
Of
that
course, man.
that's a good point. Like we are in full, the mode of trying to fulfill promises, right? So
Yeah.
I know that people may not see it because sometimes development is slow. Game development is complicated. This game in
Yeah.
particular has a very complicated simulation, which may not seem like it, but if you add an NFT with certain parameters, sometimes you break, you know, 10 other things, 15 other things, and um, it gets really difficult to debug. So it's a complicated simulation game that we also added since the new version a lot of validation to prevent cheating,
Right.
which we accomplished in a great manner compared to the old game. But our general take as a team is we have all of these past promises. We're trying to stop making new promises because we're just saying, okay, we have to fulfill all things, and that's the mode in which we are, which I think speaks volumes of what Gala is doing. Because as you said, other projects or other companies could have just said, let's just kill the game, and that's not the case here. We have hired around 6 people in the last month, I think. We have so we have increased the size of the team to prepare to do more things,
Right.
both in the old promises camp and in the future of the more casual version of the game. So there is a commitment from benefactor and the company to keep pushing this. Even if maybe we don't have the same numbers for the same people playing as we had on May 1st. Throughout May Mayhem, we have a bunch of people coming in because of the free money,
Right.
right, or the rewards.
It's amazing how the free money just brings people in.
And so, yeah, that's true. But we have a loyal fan base or user
It's a
base that
tremendously
really like
loyal
the
user
company.
base. Yeah.
So I think that those people deserve to have the things that they bought uh,
Do
function
the
the way that
stuff
they
that
were
they want.
promised.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Of course.
So that's what we're working on. And again, if sometimes we get a little slow on that, it's because we're doing a bunch of different things at the same time.
Right.
Right now we're testing the next week's competition that has a fully weird. You probably never seen it before, but it's a full starter town full of stuff that we haven't done before. So we're testing that.
Oh,
That takes a lot of
interesting.
time. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to design it and test it, and there are some errors that get introduced. So there's a lot of bug fixing. We have reports from the community. So we're trying to build the new stuff while we maintain the old stuff, and and we also sometimes drop the ball. That's also true, right? We gotta be honest there. We make some mistakes. Sometimes we have released something that has broken something in production. Then we have to spend time fixing it, but that's
Yep.
part of live ops. You keep moving and you keep fixing and try to deliver value
Right.
to your players.
Right. And I think another thing that is interesting is that if you were to look at this from a Web 2 context, right? Very rarely do you have the ability to, let's say you have a normal Web 2 app, right? You tune that Web 2 app and something goes away. Like this happens all the time, right? And you have absolutely nobody that you can go talk to about it. Okay. Like my personal pet peeve is when websites change their interface. Drives me freaking insane. Over the last few days, Slack has updated its interface and it's like a mandatory Slack update. So now my Slack is just the worst application ever. And I hate it so much right now. But I can't go into like Slack's Discord and be like, guys, why did you do this? I wish I could though.
I mean, you
But yeah,
can.
I mean, do they have a Discord? They probably have a Slack. My guess is they have a Slack. They
Yeah,
better
you
have a
can
Slack. It'd be
complain.
really weird. Um, Wait, this is not pre-recorded worst waifu. This is live. Okay. Worst waifu's like, this is pre-recorded. It's not.
Why,
It's not at
why
all.
would it
We're here.
matter if it was? I mean, it's not, but why would it matter?
It wouldn't matter. Oh, somebody deleted the comment. It's okay. This is definitely live though. And just I want to deal with a couple quick questions really quick.
Yeah.
Rich, I didn't delete your messages. I think that another mod deleted them, but you're absolutely free to criticize. Don't care. Um, you know, but yeah, you're more than welcome to criticize. We're definitely here for it. We hear it a lot. If it makes you feel better, you're not necessarily saying anything that other people haven't said, or that some of us internally also feel. We have big discussions about a lot of these different things, and the voice of the community is extremely well represented internally, and there is at every single meeting somebody who is hardcore advocating for the community. So your voice is being heard here. Okay. So yeah, let's and what do you mean Web 2 doesn't collect money before a finished product? Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Really?
Well,
Start assistant?
some
Um,
projects do, but
some definitely do. But come on, how many times I pre-order games all the time? Like half the stuff I play on Steam, if I have a chance to play it. And to be completely honest, I probably pre-ordered 10 games in the last year and played 0 of them. But people pre-order games all the freaking time, man. That's not a new thing. And most of the games that when games that we're working on come out, most of them are free to play. As opposed to most of the games that I've pre-ordered, which I honestly paid probably more for the pre-order than I would if I would have just waited for the damn thing to come out, waited 3 months, and then bought it on, the next Steam sale. So anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this portion of the interview up, because otherwise you and I could sit here and talk all day, Pablo.
I have a little bit more time if you want, but yeah, maybe there are
Okay,
questions for
if
me.
you
I don't
have,
know.
you guys have any questions? Let's wait for there to be some questions here. Let's see. Any more info on GalaChain Marketplace? It is something that is in flight, but there's a few other pieces that are relevant there. We're probably not going to get into it today, but we will get into it in the near future. Ron, will Gala consider getting a critic to comment on the game on an NDA basis, as in like a non-disclosure agreement basis? Dude, you don't have to be a critic and have an NDA to comment on the game. Come to our Discord. You can join it at here. Boom. galagames.chat. Come in and hang out. You don't need an NDA to comment on things. Let's see. What else do we got here? Do I have a ladybug on my hat? Yes, in fact, I do have a ladybug on my hat. Let's see. There are always going to be haters. Yes. Can old school Townstar NFTs start to earn again? Doesn't have to be a lot. I just don't want them to become vaporware. Can we get a no vaporware commitment from you, Pablo?
I mean, that's part of what we're discussing here, which is,
Right?
in general, the thing is bringing earnings back. The question has been lately, it's exactly how, and that's where
Yes.
the big discussions internally have been like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and this is what I think it's important, and we finally coalesce into, okay, this is the plan that unifies all the past promises and tries to give the most value, including bringing back the earning NFTs. So
Right.
we've said it in every single town hall, but basically, if you had an NFT that earned pound points, we have not touched those pound points. They're still tied to the same amount to the same NFT. And when we turn on this new system, they will earn again.
There you go. And there's a lot of more information that can come from that. Let's see here. What do we got?
Sorry.
Okay, I think that covers most of the questions. Win confetti. Boom. There's some confetti. Let's see. Okay. NFT interoperability between games, still a thing. People are actually, this is something I see a lot. People are interested in Vox coming back into Townstar. And before Pablo answers and says anything that Pablo wants to say about this, one of the reasons that Townstar, or that Townstar was like the first home for Vox, is we did want to push that interoperability, but also the Vox itself did not yet have a home. Now, as things get closer to the release of the Voxverse, and there are more things that you can do with your Vox, there is less pressure, I would say, on Townstar to be the home for Vox, because it really honestly shouldn't be. I'm totally fine with it being there. That's fine. But I think that the main function of Vox is to exist within the Vox part of the ecosystem. Interoperability is a great thing, but interoperability puts a huge burden on the game that's on the receiving end of that. Because, for example, let's say we were to take something from the Walking Dead Empires, right, and put that inside a game like Common Ground World, right? Now Common Ground World has to figure out what to do with an NFT and have that NFT do a thing within a totally different context in which it doesn't exist. And on top of that, some of these titles, specifically things that have to do with anything that is AMC adjacent, right? For AMC, they don't necessarily want to have something that is a character tied to their universe inside a character tied to another universe, okay? Because there's licensing agreements that are in place. So being able to drop like the Walking Dead Vox, for example. And I don't know, I have not been part of any of the discussions around this, but being able to drop the Walking Dead Vox into something like Common Ground World may not actually even be possible with the licensing agreements that are in place. I don't know if it is, I don't know if it isn't, but that's just a consideration that most people don't think about, because in the Web3 space, we talk about interoperability so much, we sometimes forget about the like legal brass tacks of what that actually looks like. So that's a thing.
There's a legal aspect, but then there's the game design aspect, you
Right.
know, uh, and the engine aspect, which is a little bit more complicated. Like, and even more than that is the art cell challenge. Does whatever these other NFT match any of the
Right.
systems we have for animation, for all the metadata we need? So we basically need to build the whole thing in our system to support their NFTs. I think that interoperability is interesting, but it's hard to make it work just, like
It's
out of the
not a
box.
wave a magic wand and poof,
It's
suddenly
it's
interoperability.
it's not, but I think there are other things that I personally think are more interesting. So, for example, things like, you have your, let's say, your JPEG NFTs, like the monkeys and whatnot, right? Uh, I think that's something that you can do, right? Which is something that doesn't have any parameters. Like maybe you can have a museum in your city game, right, or your city building
Right.
game, where you can, you slot them in, and maybe you can uh, give some points out of them depending on certain factors. So you have
Sure.
to really think about it and map it, or something that is more direct. Why not have a drive-in cinema NFT that you can drop in Common Ground World that can showcase um, the Gala film NFTs, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you get certain boosts depending on that. So there are certainly things that can be done, um, but it's not a blanket thing, right? You
Right.
gotta really think about it
It's
and work
very
on it.
case by case.
Yeah. But the interesting thing with Box is that they have we are working on them right now. We have announced that already. We have someone checking that. It's interesting because this is a technical thing, but we basically have to download the assets for the box remotely. We can't have all of them because there are 17,000 box between both collections that are available for Common Ground World.
Oh yeah, between yes.
Yeah, each one is 8,888 unique assets. So you double that, and that's the amount of assets that we need to support in the game. And we can't add what, like 4 gigabytes to our project. It would really mess up your loading times.
You
So we're
right.
working on. So what we have an engineer working on. Okay, these things are somewhere there in the internets and the and the IPFS.
Yes.
We can grab it dynamically and put it on the
And
board,
then put it
right?
in the game, right? And
Right.
this is even more complex if you have a thing like one of the topics. This might be a leak. I don't know if it's actually, this isn't supposed to be a leak because this isn't, maybe not actually even a thing, but one of the ideas that we have talked about in the past
Mhm.
is the ability for people to come and view a town, for example.
Oh yeah,
And if you were to have somebody coming and viewing your town, right, now you have to dynamically load all of the Vox that are in that town as well, right,
yeah.
for the user who's doing the viewing. So it creates a very, very interesting technical problem, which I think is pretty cool.
And it's
Um,
being solved. But the important thing about Box is, or the more important thing for the people who bought it, specifically think about Town Store and Common Ground World, is that they have town points associated with them.
right,
And when we turn on the daily challenges or the earning system, they will earn like any other NFT. So we are working on that so that it's part of that release. We're not leaving Box behind because that's also a promise that we have to keep,
right,
right?
right.
And we will keep it.
Well, there you go, guys. There you go. So, couple questions. Crazy Chacky says, first fulfill old promises and then continue with new ones. You kind of got to do both at the same time. You have to keep building, and it's not all just about what was said previously. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. Nephilim Haas has just dropped a GIF in Gala Gold that you should definitely not check out. Nobody go to Gala Gold right now because it's dangerous. Crash and Eddie has a question, and you may not want to answer this question or be able to answer this question. But Crash and Eddie says, what is a realistic time frame estimate in all caps, for earning NFTs to be turned back on?
I don't want to answer that right now, but basically, because we're setting the priorities up for the new stuff, including the guilds and whatnot.
Right.
So that's a roadmap that I want to share with you guys as soon as possible. So I mentioned roadmap a couple weeks
Right.
ago,
Yes.
in town halls, and we ended up putting it on the back burner because we had to work on this common ground world thing, right?
Yeah.
Which gave us this common ground game mode, which is where we're gonna try to do all the things that you're mentioning, like
Right.
visiting the town and whatnot, like new casual mechanics and try to attract more people. But now that that's done, and we're going back to checking our live ops and our competition system and these new features, we're heavily working on estimations and a roadmap. So what I want personally is to just be able to say, here, this is the estimations for each thing. This is my estimation for when this will be out, including daily challenges. But this is a full package too, right? We want the daily challenges to come back in some manner, right? So the town points to be able to earn you dirt in this case, and eventually,
Right.
potentially something else. But also we have to make good on the promises to node owners, right? Because they bought the nodes, so they also need to earn. They are
Correct.
now, but we also promise functionality for those things, right? And
Correct.
that's our
Correct.
our new system. So all of those things are interconnected. So we have to make a decision. They said, do we work on a single thing now and try to get out the door and have just a little bit of a little piece of the puzzle, or try to work on all things at the same time so we can present the whole thing together? Like, this is the whole thing. This is how all it's connected. So you probably see more of that when we discuss the light paper. Although we have already mentioned, I think last week we said how you will earn this database currency, right?
Yes.
So you already know kind of what our plans are. The question is how we'll get there.
Yeah. Okay, man. So my high score in Get Plucked is like 32. I suck at that game so incredibly much, and anytime I try to go left or right, I accidentally go forward because I'm not swiping far enough. So yeah. And yeah, guys, sometimes not smiling at the stuff that I'm seeing in Galagold is fun. Anyway, Pablo, we need to close it up for today,
Sure.
and because otherwise we're not going to have time to hit the rest of the game updates. And so I will let you go for now, and I will see you tomorrow morning when we do this full read through. We can take turns. Get your best Shakespearean actor voice ready so that we can really deliver. It'll be great.
Okay.
Projection. It's all about projection.
Got it.
Awesome, Pablo.
So
thank you so much, man. And everyone tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time for the Common Ground World Town Hall, followed immediately at 9 a.m. for the Common Ground World light paper read through, where we will read it cover to cover. And you guys will be able to feed in on that. And I think we should make it a fun hat day. So you should probably wear a hat, Pablo. Just saying. Let's do a hat. I got my ladybug hat. What do you got?
So ladybugs is what your kid likes, right?
She does like ladybugs. She's a big fan.
Yeah, mine is a fan of giraffes.
Okay.
So I'll look for something like that.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Well, see you around, Pablo, and we're going to get back to the rest of the show.
Cool.
Okay, guys, let me pull the run of show back up. And yes, again, I just want to emphasize that you really definitely should not go into, oh, I forgot to use the ahead of the game background. Oh, man, hold on. I have to go fix that later. Anyway, I had a great ahead of the game. So Common Ground World Town Hall tomorrow. there's going to be a massive amount of information that is shared. Okay, now on to, I feel like I'm like really low on this screen right now. I have to sit up straighter. That's probably a me problem, isn't it? I made myself too low. There we go. That's better. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about Meow Match. The cats are out of the bag. You can now transfer your Meow Match NFTs on GalaChain. Not quite ready for bridging just yet, but that is on the to-do list. Be on the lookout for 2 weekly competitions in the near future. QA is being completed and the update should be live soon. So for those of you who enjoy doing things with cats, it is your time to shine. Those competitions will be live. Okay, and then moving on to Echoes of Empire. There's another playtest coming up very soon. Announcements will be in Discord and here on Ahead of the Game as we learn more. Good, Paul, did we ever do an art thing, a Inner Circle, Blue Realm art thing for... Okay, we need to do one for EOE because their art is just so freaking amazing, that we definitely need to hit that. Okay, so then let's go ahead and hit get plucked. The game is live now on both Android and iOS. We're going to be having some tournaments in the work to determine who is the top plucker. And I believe now we have a video.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, it may sound like a joke to you, but every day thousands of chickens struggle to cross roads, rivers, and rail lines. But you can help. You can help end this senseless... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Good Lord! Oh, it's everywhere!
I absolutely love that. That is so perfect. And if you guys are seeing, you're probably seeing that as an advertisement in a few different places right now. So there is a lot of very good and fun attention coming to the ecosystem from that. I can't even wrap my head around it. Like, absolutely massive shout out to the entire art team over there on Vox and Get Plucked. You guys always do amazing stuff, and I've been poking around at some of the other stuff that's coming in the future, and people are going to be very, very, very happy with what they see there. Okay, moving on to Legacy. The game is launching October 26th. The bridge will open on the 24th. You will then have access, if you have a deed, to set up your guilds in game. I'm extremely excited about this. This has been a long time coming, and I've been wanting to get the team on to do a little bit of interview / video stuff, but that hasn't been able to work out yet for a variety of reasons. But I'm hoping that in the near future, you guys will be able to have a little bit more interaction there. I'm extremely excited about this one because I had so much fun playing Legacy. And Peter Molyneux is one of my favorite game designers of all time. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know that everybody else is going to as well. Eternal Paradox. Okay, so this is one of those fun ones because I'm actually pretty heavily involved in this, so I have to be very careful about what I say to not accidentally say too much. For some of these things, and just so you guys know, like for me, as a person who is sharing this information with you, I literally have show notes that I go and sometimes I read because I'm not updated on all of these things. But this is one that I'm watching very closely. A tentative date for the game release has been decided. There will be more specifics as it approaches. And there's also going to be a lot of information on lore being released here in the near future. So pay attention to that and make sure that you are following everything. Moving on to Spider Tanks. This week's stream featured special guests from ProCent. There are going to be more special guests, and if you are interested in being a special guest, in fact, reach out to the team, and there's going to be some longer streams as well. One of the things that we're... Wait, say again? I heard something in my ear, Paul. They can DM Paul, and Good Paul is in our Discord right now, and you can actually, we ought to just change your name to Good Paul. Like that feels like make it happen. So it's going to be at Good Paul here in just a few minutes in Discord. I massive shout out to Paul as always. So yeah, DM Paul if you're interested in being on that. And one of the things that I've been working on with Jay-Hoon is producing a lot more content to get out there and doing a lot more streaming. So I think that I may need to get on and play some Spider Tanks here pretty soon too. Moving on to Poker Go Play, which we had an amazing Poker Go live session last night with David Bianchi and Louis King. Some guests from Gala Music and Gala Film. It was fantastic. There's going to be more special guests on these streams, and there's going to be more ways for you guys to join us at the table. So I think we're going to start bringing in some community special guests and getting them on the stream so that everyone can engage. And we're working on, it's not quite there yet, but we're working on a way to make it a little bit more controlled and a higher polished tournament experience. And in fact, today, over the last couple hours, I guess, I don't know, I got a DM from Classy. They were doing a sit and go tournament with a bunch of different creators. Don't know how that turned out. Hopefully Classy will update if he's in Discord. Maybe he can let us know how that went, and I will read the update live. But yeah, that's a lot of cool stuff coming with Poker Go Play. Now on to Dragon Strike. The new hero Ignarok is scorching his way through the summoning portal just in time to help with this weekend's Dragon Strike. You can summon this new hero with the dungeon and other events happening now. There is the Monster Bash Impossible Dungeon. Face your fears and defeat Gawain's monstrous party. Along the way, fight fearsome monsters for awesome prizes. Once Gawain has been defeated, a hidden challenge stage awaits you with even more loot and secrets to discover. A leaderboard competition. Challenge your fellow players in the Monster Bash Challenge leaderboard by competing for the most wins in the hidden challenge stage. Will you be the ultimate champion this Halloween? Guild gifts. It's not about individual achievements. Share the spooky fun with your guild mates and receive special Halloween-themed items while opening guild gifts. These gifts may hold delightful surprises. Who knows what treats are awaiting you? There is a daily mission. Halloween spirit is infecting your daily missions. Open your mission gifts for a chance to receive festival treats. The TLDR on all of this is Halloween Dungeon brings back Pumpkinhead himself, Gawain. Fight your way through the dungeon and then to the hidden challenge that has a competitive leaderboard. Loot seasonal candy for a year-round supply of epic buffs through missions and guild gifts. So that's super cool. I'm super excited about it. The event is ongoing and ends on November 4th. So get in the game and embrace the Halloween spirit. Halloween is an interesting time of year. And one of the things that I most love about Halloween is, of course, the Halloween candy and Halloween content in games. There is always cool stuff. Okay. Oh, Jay-Hoon. I'm seeing Jay-Hoon showing up in the chat. C Money 37 wants me to do an evil laugh. No, I would never do that. C Money. Never. Okay, let's see. Who do we have? Maybach. I am not Zach. That is not me. Somebody yeet Maybach, please. Okay, let's see. On to the next thing. The Walking Dead Empires. There is some art to share, guys. We have 1 image and 3 short animations, so check that out. I haven't actually seen this yet. Nice. There you go. That's cool. Okay. Do we have other images and animations? There we go. Nice. I love seeing this in progress stuff. It's a nice look. Right at the camera. Breaking the fourth wall there. That is fantastic. Well done, Walking Dead Empires team. There should be some exciting news for next week. The playtest is still in the works, and the plans have not changed at this point in time. So I'm looking forward to that. Legends Reborn. People are looking for some Legends Reborn updates. And let me... Maybach has updated. I am now Jason. Congratulations, you got the right name. I appreciate it. Okay. Legends Reborn. They are hard at work getting a playable of the game ready for internal testing. I've been seeing some rumors about that in channels. As soon as we have a hint of when the playtest is available, we will let you know. And development is continuing apace, and all of that is fine and dandy. So those of you who were worried that that game would never make it to market, do not need to worry any longer. It is coming. Okay, then we've got some ecosystem updates. We have some website updates. There is a new look in the works for the game's website, and there's a video for that. So go ahead and run that, Paul. Okay, here we go. I like that. That's cool. I like that. That's a much more smooth look. I thought that there was going to be some of the store pages in there, which I think you guys haven't seen yet, because I know you probably saw that video. I'm very excited about it because our website is hopelessly out of date and definitely needs a refresh, and we're making that a priority. The team is currently integrating and testing the new credit card provider. So that is in progress. But there's another little update here that isn't on this, and that is that we have decided that it is an absolute massive P0 to fix some of our onboarding flows. That was a thing that Benefactor himself brought up, and we are driving hard at right now. So hopefully we can make some of this a little smoother and easier to get into the ecosystem. So we don't have a community interview today because I honestly couldn't make it to do the community interview because I had a bunch of other stuff come up. It's like I said, it has been a week. So that is what I've got as far as the pre-planned content. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them. I am going to handle questions from Gala Gold preferentially, and then we'll take some from YouTube if we get there. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to scroll up because people were asking questions, and I want to make sure that I hit them all because we had a lot going on. Classy was here for a little bit. I don't know if he is. Okay. Question for head of the game. Can you please tell us why our two 7K node guys stopped running nodes? I do not know. They are not my nodes. I do not turn them on and off. They are not company nodes. Company does not turn them on and off. Yeah, that is, I don't know. But I'm happy that they're off because I didn't feel that they should ever be running. So that was a question from Siberia. The Breading, who I was wondering who the Breading was, and had to actually ask somebody, and discovered that it is Crisp. So nice to see you, Crisp. Sorry, I did not know who you were. Smalls ask, what are the process by which Gala determines the right size and scale of various projects? It's a little, it's, I don't want to go so far as to say it's a process that varies by a lot of different metrics. We always try to do stuff in a data-driven fashion. Sometimes that works out better than others, and sometimes we have more information than we do in other cases. So it varies pretty wildly. And Sigard said, how much the community spends on it, and no, not at all. Our biggest spends by far have been on things that you guys are completely unaware even exist. And hopefully someday you will be aware of those and you will know about that. But yeah, there is absolutely no connection there, because in many cases we have to spend the money up front before you guys know about it. It's not a situation where the community spends money and then we decide whether or not we're going to do a thing. We put a bunch of money, invest a bunch of money, pay out minimum guarantees, pay out licensing fees, hire people, fund teams, all of that, sometimes for a very long period of time before you guys ever see it. So yeah, let's see here. Oh, pulling questions. Classy needs to start streaming some things. That was some comments that I'm seeing. Come on. Where are the questions? Is the dirt regenerative? Not sure what you mean by that, but there's a future plan there that is related to the dirt. So it's very, very. You guys are gonna like the long-term plan there. Your question, Sigard. Okay, I'm trying to parse some of these questions. One of the challenges with Discord is that things get split up across multiple lines with different stuff interspersed. So things would make sense if they were all together in one message, but when there's like 5 messages between them, it doesn't work. And let's see, interoperability between games. We talked about that. My wife wants to know how she can become a voice actress for Gala Games. That's from Crypto G. I don't actually know. I did not apply for the be a voice position. Nephilim wants to hear a Gollum voice. Stupid hobbitses. We like the questions. And Mirandus, we need some Mirandus posters. Absolutely agree with that. And sorry, C Money. Yeah, you can probably hear me typing because typically speaking, I have Discord right here. I have YouTube right here. And so, yes, occasionally I do type and you will hear that. Let's see. Some very cool stuff coming for Gala Film that I'm very excited about. We spent a good portion of the morning going over the light paper for Gala Film with the entire team, and I am so excited for that launch. I don't know if we've released a date yet. I'm not going to talk anymore because that's going to get me in trouble. Hefe asks, for the AMA, can you give us an update on BitBender being safe? Yes, BitBender is safe. So that is something that we can all be happy about. And I am planning in the near future. I think I'm probably going to wait for there's another launch that I want to tie this to. I'm going to be putting BitBender as a one-of-one Vox chicken for Get Plucked up for auction for charity, and all of the proceeds from that will go to the Alzheimer's Foundation, because you guys may or may not know this, but my father passed away from early onset Alzheimer's, so that's something I try to support every year. And let's see. Zoro Gala asks if that was the voice of Tofu. No, I don't believe so. I believe that was the voice of Hutch, I think. So yeah, that's for the Vox video. That's who that was, and I love that video again. Let's see. Okay, these are some really creepy gifs of Miley Cyrus people. I'm just gonna try this BitBender trick or treat. Let me see what I can do for you there, Sigard. Rusty Spork asks, I stopped talking about nodes NFTs a week or two ago and never continued after my camera overheated. Can you finish that? Can you ask the question again? I'd be more than happy to answer, but I don't remember specifically what was asked. Sigard asks, can you explain jaded? Jaded, when I use the term jaded, is when somebody is they expect the worst out of a situation, and you know they've been they've seen so much so many times that it's like, oh, I guess this is just going to be another terrible thing. That's what I mean when I say jaded. I do not mean anything from like what was that Nephilim Haas posted, like 15th century thing about horses. Yeah, I didn't even know that. It's amazing trivia, but I did not know that. Will there be any monetary value for beams? Don't know. Music is not my thing. Vox video was brilliant. Props to them. Absolutely. String bender. It's nice to have another bender in here. Will there be any potential utility for the Townstar Common Ground Vox in Townstar? Pablo said that there was going to be something. I don't know what exactly that was. But yeah, hold on. What was the question? Oh, that I'm not even going to touch that right now. The long story short for some of these things, guys, is oftentimes if we're not giving you an update about a game, there's one of two reasons. The first is that it's not an update that we can give because there's some sort of legal requirement that we not. So for example, updates have to be cleared with the other teams and things like that before we make an update. The second thing is there may not be anything for us to necessarily say. There's a variety of reasons for that. Sometimes it's because we're waiting on the other team for something. Sometimes, because we don't want to say like, oh, well, this particular team didn't do whatever, because that's not what this is about. This is an update about the ecosystem and about the stuff that is happening, not about the stuff that is not necessarily happening. So we just simply don't go into some of those things if we can't. Okay, let's see. Yes, it was Hutch on the voiceover. Fantastic. The question was regarding turning founders nodes into NFTs. When is this going to happen? Will the same thing go for music, film, and other nodes? Any info you can give us at all? Okay, thank you for giving me the question again. Founders nodes, yes, founders nodes will absolutely be NFTs. I had hoped that it would happen by now. It has not yet happened. Obviously, as you guys know, it is currently, and if you go look at the node channel in the Explorer, you can see some activity taking place there. That is for the Townstar nodes in testing right now. And once those turn into NFTs, then the next step is going to be the founders nodes. But there's a few pieces of the process that have to be worked out. So for example, if we're making it so that the nodes don't depend on the server, okay, the licensing server, they depend instead on the indexer, then there has to be a point in time where there's a transition period. So for example, nodes, people will get their nodes, okay, and then once they get their nodes, there has to be a period where we say, okay, look, you need to cycle down your nodes and then turn on your other nodes, okay, for the NFTs, and switch over to that instead. What we don't want to have happen is a point in time where all of the nodes simply just turn off. Okay, because that would be terrible for the ecosystem as a whole. All of the nodes just turn off, but we want to switch the loads over from running on the licensing server, or by the authority of the licensing server, to running by the authority of the indexer as an NFT, which is a much more decentralized process. So that's essentially a long way of saying it's definitely being worked on. It's a thing that just this morning I had a whole conversation about, but there are a few little technical details that have to be worked out before that gets gets kicked off. Any news on rep? I actually just saw today the entire UI flow for Gala Friends. So I think that that's going to be a something that you're going to be happy to see in the very near future. My conversation with Neil earlier this week says that Rep is on target for its launch date, 90 days from when it was originally announced, and we gave that 90-day window. So should be live then. And there is the ability now to create accounts and make posts and things like that directly on GalaChain. So I'm super stoked about that. And I will be playing with that here in the near future. Popcorn, will it be convertible to other Gala tokens? No, we don't do exchanges of tokens internally, but Popcorn will have its own thing in the future. ETA on backload of Founders Node NFT drops. Will mystery boxes be in the Founders Node drops? No, mystery boxes won't, because the NFTs that are inside mystery boxes are typically in the Founders Node drops. Not all of them, but most of them. The Founders Node drops, I actually thought those happened last week. I will go follow up and find out why they didn't. Subspace, did Rep get an update? Yep, just gave an update like 2 minutes before you walked in. Sorry, Subspace. Okay, let's see. Let me go pull YouTube over onto this screen so I don't have to do the sideways head thing the entire time. Let me open this up bigger and make myself smaller. Man, I wish there was an easier way to see the chat. Okay. What is user volume? Are we struggling to find online gamers? Web3 gamers are kind of a difficult thing right now, because when the market is down, Web3 gamers kind of disappear and just become Web2 gamers again. So our whole focus right now is on bringing in Web2 users into the Web3 space, and we've been quite successful in doing that with Champions Arena and with a bunch of the other titles, and Get Plucked and things like that. The focus for these is Web2 users to provide them a pathway into Web3. So are we having a hard time, finding them? No, not at all. Are we having a hard time getting them into the more Web3 portions of our ecosystem? Like if it's something that is just on desktop and you have to be a Web3 native to understand what the hell's going on, yeah, there's barriers there for sure. Glitch through gaming. What is the point of a founders node? So I don't know if you know this, and I talked about this a little bit on. Actually, let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to show you because this I think is super cool. 1 second. I have to. There it is. Give me just a second, guys. I have to do all of actually this and then move this. And 1 second. Okay. Yeah, play the Vox video really quick. He's going to play the Vox video one more time for the new viewers, and I'm going to do a thing really quick.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, it may sound like a joke to you, but every day thousands of chickens struggle to cross roads, rivers, and rail lines. But you can help. You can help end this senseless... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Good Lord! Oh, it's everywhere!
I lost my... Okay, I'm back. I have lost my thing, so I can't actually see what you guys are seeing, but this is what I wanted to discuss really quick. So when you ask what is the purpose of a founders node, founders nodes do several things, okay? The first thing that a founders node does is, we believe very, very strongly in the ethos of decentralization, and the founders nodes in the long term will provide the absolute decentralization backbone for the entire ecosystem. There's a lot more publication that I would like to release on this specific topic. I have not been able to do so yet because there's still some details, and it's one of those things that when we put information out there, it has to be right. We we have, and I will be completely candid about this, there have been times where we've released information in the past and it has not been fully 100% figured out, and that has caused problems because people get very frustrated with that. Why is this such a strange? Okay, anyway, so this is, I wish I could show this entire thing, but anyway, this is the probe lab information on the IPFS DHT tables. Hold on, I need to, this is very weird. One second, guys. I'm so sorry. Can I do that? Does that? Okay, it's just gonna be wonky for a second as I like drag this around and reveal the screen more, because there we go. I want people to be able to see where they can go to get this information. My bad. Sorry, guys. This is like an on-the-fly thing. I did not expect to be demoing this. There we go. I'm just going to run it out to the edge of the screen. Okay. This is going to be, that's better. There we go. That's the thing that I wanted to show everybody. So here we go. This is the probe lab information on IPFS. The other thing that the founders nodes do is the founders nodes support the core component for IPFS, which is they run the DHT. Now, IPFS, for you guys who don't know, is the interplanetary file system. It's essentially the distributed internet. Okay. And this is very, very, very important. And I want to demonstrate something here. Okay. Now, this is a very important graph. So this is DHT server availability classified over time. You can see that there's been a significant drop here, by the way, and a bunch of these servers going offline recently, which somebody has pointed out as being a thing that recently happened. But one of the things, oh, and here's a bunch of nodes that left the ecosystem. Somebody turned off a bunch for some reason. But the thing that I want to drive home is, where's the graph? Where is the correct graph? Here we go. So we support Kubo. Okay. Now, if you were to go to, hold on one second. Let me go to, get to the right thing here. One second, guys. Sorry. If we go and we look, what we will find is, let's drop that in there. Oh man, now it's all still the wrong size. Okay, anyway, this is good enough because it will get to the point. What I want to drive home the fact is that there's 29,897 nodes online right now. Okay, these are all founders node workloads. And there's 23,556 points being distributed. Okay, so the delta between this number and this number is essentially the number of other types of workloads that are in the system. So this could be film, this could be music, this could be common ground world nodes, all of that. But the thing that I want to drive home is that those 29,000 and change nodes that are online, okay, makes it a very significant percentage of the 32.7 thousand nodes that are running Kubo. These are the most frequent DHT server agents. So there's 29,000 plus of these nodes running Kubo supporting IPFS. This is supporting the entire IPFS ecosystem that everybody's decentralized, NFTs that are in the cloud are based on. So whether you're talking about apes, you're talking about other games, you're talking about content that is out there that is on IPFS that literally all of the Web3 world depends on. Okay. 29,000 of the heaviest agents, okay, or the most involved agents in the network are Gala nodes. Okay, this is super important because I would like to point out that this is a logarithmic scale graph. So 29,000, the next highest agent is 3,600. Okay. So a massive, massive percentage of the DHT agents that are existing in the network right now, a massive percentage of those are based on the Gala Founders Node ecosystem. So if you want to know what the Gala Founders Node ecosystem does and what a Founders Node does, is it literally supports Web3. Okay. The Gala Founders Node ecosystem is the backbone of Web3, whether Web3 knows it or not, which I think is a ridiculously important point that I would like to discuss. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Metalor. Oh my God, we're 3 minutes from the hour. Holy crap. Okay. So that is a very important thing that I wanted to drive home there. We definitely need a GALACHAIN marketplace. Absolutely agree. RNG Crypto wants to know when we'll see an updated Explorer. I don't know, man. That is a definitely important thing that I would love to see as well. Hope that answers your question, though. Glitch Through Gaming. I know that a lot of people don't understand exactly how this whole ecosystem works, but yeah, that's a really, really, really important thing. And I would love it if you guys would go tell the world how much of Web3 is built on the Gala ecosystem, because you guys, every single person who's running a founders node, you guys are contributing to the decentralization of gaming, of Web3, of finance, of all of it. And it is a privilege to be a part of this community with you guys. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think that's it, guys. I am going to go ahead and close this out for today because I need to get a drink. My throat is getting ridiculously dry with all of this talking, but I want to thank you all for coming. You guys are amazing, and I will see you next time on Ahead of the Game for episode 23. Peace. BitBender out.